Hi, welcome back to Judy Zarubik from her end of the summer holiday. It's good to have her on the other end of this recording to make sure the technology flows smoothly as planned. Thank you, Judy, for all that you do to enrich our ministry at Kincardine United Church. Indeed, we are also blessed by David Skinner and Terry Boyd, who upload these fireside chat recordings to our YouTube channel. They also make sure our website is current and easy to access. Thank you both. In fact, Terry and David probably feel like this from time to time. However, when advertising for others to help with our information technology, we need to be specific about what we need. For those of us who enjoy the television program Jeopardy and are worried about who is going to replace Alex Trebek, some speculation can be punny. Speaking of puns, classical Greek literature can be fashionable. For those of us who are getting older, who love to relax with a glass of wine and yet who make too many trips down the hall, there's this. Liquid can become a problem with disobedient cats, too. And with the fall season peeking over the horizon as days shorten, some diligent homeowners dread what comes in autumn. That kind of result is a sign of the seasons. However, signs need to be less confusing than this positioning seems to communicate. Indeed, one of the signs of our pandemic times reflects the psalmist. We are tired, we are weary, so we too might cry out to God, please listen and answer me, for I am overwhelmed by my troubles. Still, most of us hide our anguish deeply within. We know that so many things inside all of us never show on the outside, yet affect our whole lives. Consider the kids now entering their third week back to school this fall. Sometimes the most brilliant and intelligent minds do not shine in standardized tests because they do not have standardized minds. Yet the challenges of our children and grandchildren as they experience school and life go beyond the admittedly isolating ones that neuroatypical children encounter. We just don't know what's going on in people's lives. Notice the door in this picture has a sign that invites children to enter with empathy. The one in the front of the line needs to wee, but is too shy to ask. The girl with the yellow backpack is feeling flush because the tooth fairy just left some money. The pigtail girl in a brilliant yellow dress is just in a good mood. The distracted boy in an orange hoodie has parents going through a tricky divorce. The girl in the red cardigan has dyslexia. The student in the overall capris ate lots of biscuits and feels a bit sick. The curly-haired child in a bright dress and leggings is trying to think of how to get out of swimming later. The girl with a lovely pink dress smiles because she just wrote and illustrated her first book about chickens. The child in the front of this picture is living their first day as Daisy instead of Dom. The boy with the number 5 on his shirt just lost his lucky teddy bear. The girl with a Be Kind tote bag is feeling fueled for a football match later. The sad boy in the purple hoodie is going to visit grandma in hospital after school. The smiling yellow-shoed girl is daydreaming about growing up and becoming a horse. Behind her is a romantic soul all loved up with his girlfriend onto whose arm he is always holding with longing. That same girl at the end of the line is going to break up with her boyfriend later because she doesn't feel it's right for her. The blonde child looking away is feeling really blue. The dark-haired girl is dreading bumping into the school bullies, and there are always bullies. The child who is wheelchair mobile is daydreaming about food. The shy, curly-haired redhead has a crush on her best friend, M. The vivacious blonde girl next to her is M, and she's nervous but excited to sing in assembly today. The boy with brilliant white sneakers is reciting his times tables. The girl beside him is wondering how rainbows work and will grow up to be a scientist. The curly-haired child with a teddy bear on his bland shirt wishes his parents could afford cool shoes like other boys have in his class. The little girl with a small heart on her blouse is excited to meet her new baby brother later. The boy with a purple backpack is looking forward to painting flowers in art club. The girl with her back turned and wearing brown leggings has sickle cell disease. The child with pink pants has parents with high expectations. Finally, the child at the end of the line is hoping his mom would have been proud of him because she died and he misses her. When we assume everything is okay with our children and grandchildren, we fail to embrace them with the love and compassion they need. An African proverb states prophetically, the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. It seems to me the warning of that African proverb means each of us is powerfully affected by the relationships we have and that we nurture around us. If we don't encourage children to engage in safe ways to be with one another, with the generations around them, and even with the people they don't like, we fail them. We also fail to teach them about love from a faith perspective. How do we teach one another about loving exactly who we are? After all, Jesus called the little children to come to him, even though his disciples felt it was beneath him, annoyingly unimportant, and a waste of his time and attention. Here's a short, award-winning animated film about learning to love yourself for the qualities you have, instead of those things you feel are wrong with you or because. So what, though, do we do when we think there's no one there that we can turn to? Consider this imagined dialogue with God. Okay, God, here's the thing. I'm scared. I'm trying not to be, but I am. I know. Want to talk about it? Do we need to? I mean, you already know. Let's talk about it anyway. After all, we've done this before. I know, but I just feel like I should be bigger or stronger or something by now. And? Okay, so I'm afraid that I'll do everything I can to protect those I love, and it won't be enough. I'm afraid this pandemic will take someone away from me. I'm afraid the world won't go back to what it was before. I'm afraid my life is always going to feel a little bit unsettled, chaotic. Anything else? Everything else. Remember how your son woke up one night and came running into your bedroom? Yeah? You were still awake, remember? So when you heard him running, you called out to him even before he got to you. Remember? Do you remember what you called out to him? Sure. I said, you're okay, I'm here. Why did you call to him? Why didn't you just wait for him to get to your room? Because I wanted him to know that I was awake, that I heard him, that he didn't have to be afraid until he reached the end of the dark hallway. Exactly. So listen to me the same way as your son. I'm here for you. I hear your thoughts racing like feet down the dark hallway of life. Know that I'm there already. I've already seen the end of it. I want you to know right here as you walk through it all, you're okay. I haven't gone to sleep, and I won't. Can we sit together a while? And we sit here just a minute before I go back to facing it all. There's nothing I'd love more. There is assurance in knowing God's eternal presence right here, right now, always. Maybe one of the ways to deal with our inner turmoil is to orient our perception to gratitude. Take it from Winnie the Pooh's friend Piglet. Piglet noticed that even though he had a very small heart, it could hold a rather large amount of gratitude. So what if today we were just grateful for everything? Even in our woundedness, there is hope and new life. Nobody escapes being wounded. We are all wounded people, whether physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. The main question is not how can we hide our wounds so we don't have to be embarrassed, but how can we put our woundedness in the service of others? When our wounds cease to be a source of shame and become a source of healing, we have become wounded healers. One of life's realities is that there will always be very painful moments in your life that will change you. Let them make you stronger, smarter, and kinder. But don't go and become someone that you're not. Cry, scream if you have to, but then straighten out that crown and keep moving. How then can we refocus our woundedness into healing? One way from the Celtic tradition is to treat people who make mistakes the way you want God to treat you and be with you when you make a mistake. To treat one another that way, to love our neighbors as ourselves, is the path of self-giving love. As Fred Rogers observed, love is like infinity. You can't have more or less infinity, and you can't compare two things to see if they're equally infinite. Infinity just is. And that's the way I think love is too. So that picture we just saw of Mr. Rogers with Officer Clemens is one simple yet huge example of how love is shared. To have a black man share the same water as a white man in those days of segregation was a powerful statement of loving kindness that gently provided a different perspective on how we should live together. It demonstrated the expansiveness of love. Notice that all it took was a little kindness to break open the world for love, for relationships which can turn aside the tide of fear, of prejudice, and of calcified viewpoints. Why not then share a little kindness with those around us?
See your sister falling by the way, just stop and say, you're going the wrong way. You've got to try a little kindness, show a little kindness, just shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of broken-hearted people on their broken-hearted street. Hey! Let's show them what you can do, guys. Yeah. Don't you walk around down and out, lend a helping hand instead of doubt. And the kindness that you show every day will help someone
Well, it is Jan Arden singing this song with the kids of Douane School in April of last year. The song was originally written by Glenn Campbell. Considering all the children we talked about earlier in this fireside chat, all of those kids wrestling with so many diverse thoughts and worries and joys, these words really hit home for me. Don't walk around the down and out. Lend a helping hand instead of doubt. And the kindness that you show every day will help someone along their way. Isn't that the core of the message Jesus taught? The central teaching about reaching out into our community affirms the observation by Carrie Newolf. Churches that become passionate about people outside their walls will be far more effective than churches that are passionate only about keeping the few people they have inside their walls. After all, kindness is giving hope to those who think they are all alone in this world. Isn't that worthy of our effort and our time? Of course, it helps to remember we are not in this alone. We have one another, and we have God always listening, always there, always ready to chat to help us to work it out, helping us to love by sharing a little kindness. Recognizing that eternal loving presence within and among us all, let's pray. Oh God, the sorrows, worries, troubles, hurts, and wounds I offer to you. Living Christ, the humanity, the relationships, the healing, and the new hope I seek within you. Connecting Spirit, the ways in which you weave us into the fabric of life, which is of loving and of becoming, I trust to your design. Amen. It is good to be among you once again after my week of holiday. While the church facility is reopening this Sunday with appropriate public health protocols, and that's just for worship for now, on October the 12th, we'll be going through the the booking facilitators to determine on a case-by-case basis who is able to use the church. We want to protect the most vulnerable among us all. And I will continue to record these fireside chats just as I have done for the past 18 months. It's fun. Here's an old Celtic blessing to send us all on our way. May the blessings of light be on you, light without and light within. May the blessed sunlight shine on you and warm your heart till it glows like a great peat fire. May it be so for today, tomorrow, and the rest of the week. I'll see you here again at the Fireside Chat next week. Goodbye.